morning, St. Out Runners. How are you doing today? So I am coming in with another review of possibly a shoe of the year, if not definitely in my top 5. All right, so let's talk about how I got here. So I have been trying all these different shoes, and the problem is that I'm very picky, as if you could not tell from my videos, and I'm really looking for those perfect shoes. Now, I've got a lot of them covered by now. All right, my long recovery shoe. All right, so I really enjoy the Hoka Skyward X2. It's a heavy shoe, I know that, but it feels really good. It's very smooth to me. It's not bouncy, but but it's not like cushioned. It's kind of, it gives me everything back. Um, Great for my slow cruising miles, which are really important to me because I'm looking on for long distance mileage because I need to build up my mileage to help me with my half marathon and marathon training. All right, that's one. All right, second is kind of my daily shoe. And I've gone through a lot of different daily shoes. I've tried the Blast 6, which I really like the feel of, but it was just a little bit tad narrow. I tried the Pure, way too narrow. I've been using, let's see, I tried the um, Mega Blast, too firm. I've tried and I know that's like a daily shoe. I like a super shoe for a daily shoe. Why not? I tried the Super Blast 3, way too soft. Triumph, too bulky, weird. I don't know. Did not work for me at all. And I was surprised how much it didn't work to me. Now, eventually, I finally ended up on 2 different shoes that I really enjoy. The first one is the On Cloud Monster 3 Hyper, and I'm using that shoe to this day. I have more than 100 miles logged on it, and it just keeps getting softer and just better feeling to me all the time. When I first got the shoe, I did not like it. It was way too firm, but I was like, no, I'm going to give it like at least 30 miles, and it just gets better and better. I love the upper. It fits my foot perfectly. I have no hot spots. So I'm a really big fan of that shoe, and it's something that you can pick up the pace on. You're not going to run a lot of intervals in it, but a good tempo run, something like that, is fantastic for all those. And the next shoe is the Adidas Hyperboost Edge. And that one's strictly going for my daily 5-mile runs and maybe some intervals if I feel like it, because I love the foam. That Hyperboost Pro foam is absolutely incredible, and all of it. But a lot of people have problems with the upper. The reasons why people had problems with the upper, I did not have that problem. It did not bother my ankle bone. It did not mess with it. I did not feel my foot slipping out of it or anything. But it feels, it's weird. It doesn't feel narrow on me. Like I feel plenty of space. But whenever I do a long run, I'm talking like 8 or more miles in it. Um, my version of a long run. All right, I get blisters on both my feet, and I do have bunions, but they're not like big ones. But yeah, they really rub me raw. But I love the feel of it so much that I still use it for my kind of like 5 miles or less, some speed stuff, things like that. And I absolutely adore the shoe. So there is my long run shoe. There is my daily shoes. All right, I have 2. Yes. Next, I really needed a good speed interval, something that I can take out to the track. And I've gone back and forth a lot of times. Do I make this a carbon shoe? Do I make this a kind of like just a well structured shoe, something geared towards speed? All right. So of course, I tried the Evo SL, and it felt great. It was a really nice shoe. I took it in a 5-mile race, and I had a good time with it. The problem is, it destroyed my feet. I mean, I have a scar with how deep that blister was. I mean, it just, whew, that thing killed me. So that was the original Evo when it kind of like first started making names for itself. I have not tried the Woven. I have not tried the EXO, and it's very possible that those would work better for me because they get more structured, and so with more structure, it would not slide around as much. I wouldn't have gotten that friction. So it really makes me want to go back to it, but just God, my feet were tore up, and I don't. It's kind of like stuck in my head. So the Evo SL was out. All right, I tried the Asics Magic Speed 5, and that was a very quick shoe, but I like a little bit more beneath it. I had but wasn't really feeling that. I was really trying to find something and just wasn't sure. And then they made a shoe that felt like it was just for me. And that is the Topo Spectre 3. And that is just a very good looking shoe. I will agree with a lot of people that that's not cool. Like, that logo is not great. Like, you can do something different. It's just so there. I mean, even if they like made it like just gave the outline of it, but not full black, it just really kind of throws it off for me. So I'm not a fan of that. It doesn't really make sense. Uh, but other than that, it's a great looking shoe. And this has easily become one of my favorite shoes. So before I go into the shoe itself, let me talk about Topo as a brand. A lot of people, myself included, are not really familiar with Topo or know what they offer. However, if you know the brand Ultra, then you kind of know the idea of Topo. Both these brands are known for providing you a natural foot natural running experience where you have the anatomical fit. Now, the anatomical fit is where you have like a nice, real big toe box like this, and you can see all that space here. Same thing as the ultras, and so when you land, your feet have room. You really sort of can spread out of it. That's more of a natural running gait. Now, the next thing is that it has a lower drop. This one is 5 millimeters, and this is typically about the same type of drop you would get with most Topos. Ultra usually prides itself on a 0 millimeter drop, so this is a big adjustment. Now they have introduced some models, I'm not sure which ones, but they do have some models with a 4 millimeter drop. Um, but you know, they're both companies you can kind of say the same thing about. They both make comfortable shoes that are known for their anatomical fit and being solid shoes, right? None of them really like stood out. No one was like, "Oh my god, I need the Ultra for such and such." And honestly, I think Ultra is a little bit bigger in the trail running community. Um, but they are a pretty big brand. Topo, not so much, right? So I think I'm not sure when it came out, but Ultra came out with their first um, carbon fiber racer or carbon plated racer, and that was the Ultra Vanish Carbon 2, which I did do a review on, and I actually really enjoyed. And it was going to be a shoe I planned to get for myself. I just did some test runs in it, and I was going to get it, and that was going to be my main racer until I learned about this shoe. All right, so again, Topo is the smaller of the two anatomical fit man, not as known as Ultra, but still some solid shoes. Then I saw what I don't know. I watched several YouTube um, shoe influencers, and they were going on and on about the Topo Spectre 3, and I was like, "This sounds interesting. What's a Topo?" Um, Now it's hard to take a chance on a smaller shoe company that you don't know a lot about when you have Nike, Adidas, Asics, Mizuno, Saucony, On, Hoka, um, Li-Ning, um, Dynafish, all these companies is putting out all these shoes that you're hearing more and more about where you've never really heard about a big Topo shoe before. Now, I'll tell you what gave me a lot of confidence in trying this shoe, and that is the Rad UFO. The reason why is because Rad UFO, RAD if you want, is not even a running company per se. They are CrossFit. They make CrossFit shoes. but they came out with the UFO, which was definitely hands down one of my top shoes of the year. I absolutely adore the shoe, and that was just their one shoe try. So you can make a standout shoe out of nowhere, and so maybe the Topo got it right. Now, let's talk about the shoe, who it's for, all the features of it, and what its ride's like, and you can decide if this is a shoe that deserves a place in your lineup. All right, so who's this for? Obviously, this is for your wider foot people, someone with bunions, someone who likes more space. But don't be turned off if you're not a wide-footed person, because the midfoot and the heel lockdown are fantastic. So you're just going to have more room in the forefoot, but you're going to lock down all the way around. I really like their lacing system. This is also a really good shoe. It's got enough cushion to do your daily miles, maybe somewhere with your long runs, but it really is best when you're picking up the speed. And you can see that just by this crazy geometry. Like, look at that rocker. I mean, it's just meant to go, and the foam makes it go even better. But we'll get onto that in a second. So if you're looking for a speed shoe, if you're looking for a daily shoe that you want to pick up some speed with, if you're looking for a very, very, very comfortable anatomical fit shoe, this is your choice. All right. So let's get into the specs. So in a men's size 9, this comes in at 7.7 ounces, 218 grams. So no, it's not the lightest shoe, but it's pretty light. It feels very, very light, and that really helps with your get up speed. All right. So as I said, there's a 5 millimeter drop to it. There's 39 millimeters in the heel and 34 millimeters in the forefoot. Which honestly makes the shoe even better. If this was like really packed with a lot of foam, I think it would feel a little awkward, a little unstable, but has just the right amount. All right, so let's get into the upper. So upper is an engineered mesh. You can kind of see it right through there. I find it to be pretty breathable for the most part. The tongue could be a little bit more breathable, in my opinion, but it's not too bad. You have no heel tab right there, but your foot slips in very nicely. You have a nice heel counter there, nice and stiff, so it gives you plenty of support back there. There's a nice amount of cushion in the heel, which is really nice. So I like this because it's enough to be really comfortable, but it's not overly plush. It's not that feel you would get from like a Triumph 24 or like insert example here. You guys know what I mean when it's like a really plush, like a Ghost or something like that, or a Hoka Clifton 11, where it's really built for comfort. This is enough to be really comfortable, but not overly done. The same thing goes for the tongue. This is not your race tongue, but it is relatively thinner. The lacing system is interesting. It is, I'm going to make sure, it is a gusseted tongue, which is, oh no, that side is not. And I'm sorry, it is not a gusseted tongue. So there's no gust to the tongue, which usually I like, but they do it in an interesting way. If you can see these little blue, like kind of loops here, um, they hold the tongue in place so it doesn't slide around anywhere. And then you have it go through right there. So even though it's not gusseted, this tongue isn't going anywhere. It's staying in place, and it does a fantastic job at that. Laces, standard laces, nothing special about them. Um, I understand why this is not a sawtooth lace, because they're probably going for a little more for comfort. So I get that. All right, so very nice upper all around. All right, now let's go into what makes this shoe truly incredible, and that is the midsole. All right, so the midsole is a new ATPU design called Rev Foam, and it is fantastic. Now, what the shoe really wants you to do, it really wants you to run on your midfoot. So you want to hit right here, and you feel that plenty of bounce. If it reminded me of anything, I would say it's kind of very similar to the Mega Blast, but a lot softer. You can say the same thing for maybe like Saucony Endorphin Speed shoe, but more cushion. Um, it's just a great feeling shoe. It's not overly plush, but it's definitely not firm, and it gives you plenty of bounce. It is just super, God, just super comfortable, and like you can just feel how soft it is, but you get that instant feedback. So the foam is killer. Now, I will say, and of course, you have the geometry. If you're just standing in the shoe, this is like probably not a shoe I would get to walk around in for like daily, because of the fact that this is such an aggressive feel. In fact, that it feels like you're balancing on your forefoot, and you're kind of like leaning a little bit back. Um, if anyone's ever, and this is a real old school shoe that I used to love, and it's called the Newton shoes. I'll have to put up a picture of them to help you understand. But what Newton did is they had like lugs, and so it forced you to land on your forefoot. That's when we thought that was the only thing you should do. But when you stand in it, you were kind of like felt like you were at like this angle. So that's kind of the feel you get with this. Like you really are encouraged to land on your forefoot. For me, as a mid to forefoot runner, I love it. That's perfect for me. If you are a heel striker, this shoe might be a little awkward for you. So keep that in mind. But I still have heard people who heel strike really like it. All right, now looking at the outsole, you have plenty of coverage at the front. Like I said, that's where they want you to strike, so they think that's where most of the wear is going to be. You have a lot of exposed area down here, saving on weight. I have had no issues yet in my runs, and then you have two rubber pads back here to help you if you are more of a heel striker or just that extra protection. All right. So overall, the shoe is fantastic. All right, so let me talk about the ratings real quick. And this one is going to be an easy one. A's. I love everything about this shoe. All right, the design of it, I love. I love the look of it. I like the colors. Um, I don't like the logo, but it doesn't bother me enough to take away from it. So I give that an A. The upper, I mean, I have never felt this. I mean, like this is one of the best feeling shoes I've ever had on my feet. So of course I'm giving that an A. The midfoam is fantastic. It's absolutely incredible. So I'm giving that an A. And then finally, the price. The price of this shoe is, let me think, I think it was like $165, $170. I don't remember off the top of my head. Did I write that down? Let me double check. I don't want to tell you guys the wrong thing. I do not have that in my notes. I apologize. That's something. Oh, I do. It is $170. So look, considering this to me rivals the Mega Blast, that's like $220. That this is It feels as good to me as the Hyper Boost Edge foam, maybe a little bit more toward the Hyper Boost Edge, but pretty close. And that's $200, considering you have things like the Rad UFO, which is a fantastic shoe, but similar in its kind of creative design and a strong rocker, and that's $200. This for $170 is a steal, and I would have paid. Honestly, I would have paid $200 for this shoe, and I would have been perfectly happy. So I'm giving 170 a massive A. So we have A's across the board. This definitely gives one of my rare standout performances. So fantastic all around. Right? So let's talk about some comparisons. Again, this is normally where I would do a rotation. I do not know enough about the Topo shoes to give you a full rotation. I don't want to mix it around. I'm sure you can make one, but if you are including this shoe in one of your rotations, your own custom rotation or whatever have you, this is your speed shoe, this is your interval shoe, this is your daily shoe. Maybe you can go longer miles in it depending on your form and who you are. So it's going to cover a lot of those ranges. And honestly, if you're someone who wanted to run a race, not in a plate, this would be a top pick. Definitely a top pick for me. So like I was honestly considering this as a race shoe. Like, look, just forget the carbon. I'm having trouble finding a good one. This is a great shoe. And I'd be good. But I learned something else, and I'll get to that in a minute. So next time I want to talk about some comparisons. All right, so the first shoe I want to compare it to, let me go over to my notes to make sure I'm getting it all right. So the first one is, I'm going to go ahead and compare it to an Ultra shoe because that's kind of the design of it. It's similar ideas. So the shoe I'm going to compare it to is the Ultra Touring 9. That's a real popular Ultra shoe, one that I hear most people talk about. So I want to talk about that one. So this shoe, as I said, is 7.7 ounces, whereas the Ultra Touring 9 is 9.8 ounces, both in a size 9, which is really heavy for the idea of a minimal shoe. I don't know, and I had that problem with the Ultra Advantage Carbon 2 when I tried that one. It's a heavy shoe. I don't know where all that weight is coming from, so that is not great. Again, you have the 5mm drop here, and you have a 0mm drop on the Touring 9. Now, probably this is a better lockdown. The Ultra Touring 9 does have like the Vibram outsole with more coverage, so it wins there, but that's about the only place for me. Every other way, this is the shoe you want. All right, the next one I'm going to compare it to is the Mega Blast. The reason I'm choosing the Mega Blast is because they're both kind of the same idea, using an all ATPU foam. Now, as I said, a few differences. Obviously, the price. This shoe is $170 compared to like the $220 of a Mega Blast. That is a massive price difference, one that will definitely make me choose this guy. All right. And also, as light as the Mega Blast is, which it is very light, this is lighter, because especially considering the upper, that is like a paper thin kind of race material for the Mega Blast. But I think it's because of all that foam. It has so much more foam to it. That's where the weight's coming from. But this is 7.7 ounces, whereas the Mega Blast is 8.1 ounces. Now, it's not enough to change your opinion or like, oh my God, I want to save weight. It's not that big of a difference, but you know, it is worth noticing. All right. So the difference is you have the 39 and 34 room, and then with the Mega Blast, it is 45 and 37 for an 8mm drop. So that is a lot more stacked to the shoe compared to lower profile setting. So what are you getting with the shoe of the Mega Blast? You're getting a cheaper price, you're getting less weight, and you're getting a more rockered shoe that I think will get you going faster than the Mega Blast. But some people will disagree with me. They'll think the Mega Blast is faster than this one, and that's perfectly fine. But it is both are really good shoes. But the upper is where the Topo really goes ahead of the Mega Blast. The Mega Blast upper is not great. I appreciate it's got the sawtooth. I appreciate that. I appreciate it's trying to become like a race day shoe, race day fit. I love that, but it misses the mark. If they would have had a better upper, that could have been probably one of the greatest shoes of all time. It probably is still going to go down as one of the greatest shoes of all time, honestly. I mean, it's such a good shoe, but so is this, and a lot cheaper. All right. So final words on this shoe is I'm going to be logging plenty of miles in this shoe. This is going to be easily fit into my rotation for a long time to come. Easily going to be one of my top shoes of the year. And now for the exciting news is that also, if you've been following this channel and watching other reviews, you know that I have been on my carbon quest to find the perfect carbon shoe for me. All right. Deep breath. and we're going to go through the carbon shoes I have tried. We're going to go Deviate Elite 4. We're going to go Alpha Fly 3. We're going to go Pro 4, Adidas Pro 4. We're going to go Saucony Endorphin Elite 3. We're going to go with the Kip Run Kip Storm Elite. We're going to go with the Hoka Rocket X3, I think. Yep. We're going to go with the Hoka Cielo X1 3.0. We're going to go with the red, with the Leaning 6 Ultra 6 Elite, I believe. And am I missing anything? We're going to go with the Asics Tokyo Metaspeed Sky Tokyo, and I think that does it. So that's a lot of different carbon shoes I've tried, and just all of them, for one reason or another, too tight, too unstable, too firm. I haven't found the right ones, but Topo is making their Specter Elite, which is basically, it honestly looks about the same shoe as this. It's got even more of an aggressive rocker. It's got the carbon plate in it. It's got more foam in it. It's supposed to be fantastic, and the fit is going to be so good. And I'm hearing early reviews how great it is, and I cannot wait. I mean, I see no reason why that's not going to be my carbon shoe choice. That's not going to be my race day choice. Now, I also have the Brooks Hyperion Elite 6. I'm still always rooting for you, Brooks. So I'm going to give them a try. And I honestly, I was going to try the Cloud Boom Strike 2. Ooh, sorry. But honestly, I'm not hearing great feedback from some people. And the fact that this is coming out makes me want this guy. I mean, that's going to be a killer shoe. I mean, I'm so excited. That comes out in August. Perfect timing for my race days coming up, because I got a whole bunch of races starting in September, going all the way to December. And then December, I will start with my marathon builds for the London Marathon. Now, the sad news of that is that means my quest for the perfect shoe rotation is coming to an end. And there will be new shoes I get. There's so many new shoes out there, but I'm going to be really happy with my shoes. So a lot of my videos from now on are probably going to focus more on training, tips, my journey, things like that. And that might not interest a lot of people, but this is a place where I can document my journey. So my son can watch it. Maybe my grandkids can watch it. Do you think there'll be YouTube when I have grandkids? I don't know. Would this still be a thing? I don't see it going anywhere, but I just feel like something else will come. All right, moving on. You know, this is a really important journey to me, and I never thought I would be in this place again, to even be talking about doing a marathon, to talking about racing. And I love doing this. I truly enjoy it. If you're watching, I hope you are enjoying this as well, or you get something out of it. And always, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your attention. And please remember, be bold, be fast, be you. And one of my new favorite quotes I've heard is, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're probably right. All right. Thank you so much. Please like and subscribe.